In this video, I'm gonna be sharing everything that you need to know before you start buying Milwaukee power tools. Trust me, I've got a lot of experience buying Milwaukee power tools. I've got a lot that you need to know about, whether you're just getting into the power tool platform or if you're already bought into that red and black tool brand. You need to watch this video. I promise you're gonna learn a ton. Before we get into this video, I want to let you know that this video is in no way sponsored by Milwaukee. All the tools that you're going to see, I purchased with my own money. Milwaukee doesn't know that I'm making this video. I do love Milwaukee tools, and I'll talk about that more later in the video, but just want to be on the up and up and say, this is my honest opinion. I'm not getting paid by Milwaukee to make this video. First thing you need to know about is the different Milwaukee battery platforms. Now, this is pretty simple, but there's some nuances that I think you need to know about. You have the M18 battery platform, which is the 18-volt batteries that power all of their 18-volt tools. And then you have the M12 battery platform, so 12-volt batteries that power 12-volt tools. So M18, M12. Now within those platforms, there's lots of different batteries that you can get. So like just over here on the M18 platform, these are the Milwaukee batteries I have in my shop. I actually had some even smaller batteries that I recently just gave away because I never really used them. So this is the XC 5.0. It's a 5 amp battery. XC is the middle of the line level of Milwaukee battery. So you have CP, which is the lowest level, so CP. Then you have XC, which is the mid-tier level of battery. And then you have, like what this battery is, the HD, okay? So CP, XC, HD. Don't ask me what those letters stand for. I have no idea. If you know, please leave those down in the comments. I would love to learn along with the rest of you. But there's lots of different types of batteries. So you got obviously those 3 different levels. Those are the same on the M18 platform as well as the M12 platform. But you also have different amp batteries. Essentially, the longer or the higher the amp, the longer battery life, the more output you're going to get, all of that kind of stuff. So just for examples, and I'll show you some of these batteries in action with some tools later in the video when I talk about what tools you want to buy, what tools you want to avoid. But this battery, this is the HD 12.0 M18 battery. It's a beast. I mean, this is the biggest battery I have in my shop of any brand besides like what powers my lawnmower. It's crazy. This powers my M18 table saw. And I'll talk about that table saw more later in the video, but super high powered battery. Then some of these batteries, this powers like a lot of my mid-tier tools that, you know, aren't gonna take as much power as a table saw, but like my router, I use the XC 5.0. My track saw actually uses this battery. So yeah, just a lot of different batteries that are nice for different applications. Over on the M12 side of things, really a lot of these same things apply. You still have the CP, XC, and HD. So this, for example, this is a CP 1.5 amp battery. This battery, as a matter of fact, is, I think, like the lowest output battery that Milwaukee makes. This came in a little package that I got several years back. I think I got a couple of drills, like a drill impact driver, and I was like, oh, this is great, I get 2 batteries. You want to really pay attention to the types of batteries that you're getting if you're ever buying those packages, because if you just look on the surface and say, oh, that's great, I get 2 batteries or 4 batteries, you want to pay attention to, are those high level batteries, or are those some like that are low tier batteries? In this case, it was the low tier batteries. So I really don't even use these much. Now I have like a Milwaukee work light that I mostly power with these. I use the XC 3.0 batteries for my M12 tools a lot. Generally speaking, my M12 tools, I'm not using them for a super long amount of time. What's nice about the M12 platform is they're lightweight, they're very comfortable, and so yeah, I also have 4 of these batteries, so I can rotate them really easily. But these XE 3.0 batteries, they're great. There's also, I think, 4 amp and 5 amp and 6 amp batteries on the M12 platform. Really quickly, 2 other things that you need to know about these battery platforms. One, M18. All of the M18 batteries have the readout of how charged the battery is on the battery versus all of the M12 batteries. They don't have that readout. What you have to do is plug these into the tool, and then pretty much all of the Milwaukee M12 tools, all the ones that I have at least, the battery readout is on the tool. I'm not a huge fan of that because, you know, what happens if, like, let's say your truck with your charger is away from a tool and you pick up a battery and you're like, I'm not sure which one of these is charged. You know, you got to plug it into a tool, which you might not have handy. Whereas this, you just hit this little button right here and it's like, boom, this is fully charged. This is fully charged. wow, all my batteries are fully charged. That's great. So that's just kind of a feature that I prefer with the M18 design. I also love the release mechanism for the M18 as opposed to the M12. This gives you 2 red buttons on either side of the battery. Squeeze this and the battery slides are right out. It's really, really nice. Maybe besides rigid, it's like my favorite battery release of any tool brand that I've used. The M12, on the other hand, there's no tabs. I guess there are tabs. You kind of have to flex these 2 tabs in. Sometimes it can be really tricky getting these batteries, particularly out of the tool. Putting them in the tool is not a problem, but just can be a little bit stiff, a little bit of a finger workout there for you. Just things to consider as you're looking at these 2 different battery platforms. Okay, so you know about battery platforms. The next thing you need to know about are the 3 tiers of Milwaukee power tools. This is something that I really, really wish I knew before I started buying Milwaukee stuff. And even recently when I was researching for this video, I found out that I didn't even know all the details about these different tiers. So let me share this with you now. Bottom tier, the lowest quality, of Milwaukee tools, it's just their Milwaukee base line, okay? So if you see something that says M12 or M18, and that's it says Milwaukee M12, Milwaukee M18, that is going to be a brushed tool. An example is this impact driver and this drill. I bought this actually in the set that I talked to you about earlier. Came with these batteries, and look, it's been a fine set. Works okay, but brushed tools are just never going to be as high quality as brushless tools. That's not just a Milwaukee thing. That's a Ryobi thing, Rigid thing, DeWalt. You pick the brand, because those brushes, it's going to give you less power, less battery life. Those brushed motors run with higher temperature. So maybe if you ever had a brushed tool and you felt the motor and you're like, wow, that thing's really heating up, it's going to run hotter because it's brushed. Also, those brushes in the motor, those can wear out, which can cause your tool to need to be repaired or just be completely broken. And so, as a general rule, brushless tools last longer than brushed tools. So if you just see Milwaukee M18, Milwaukee M12, and it doesn't say brushless or fuel, then that's your bottom tier level. The next level of Milwaukee tools, and I don't actually have this middle tier level in my shop. I have all lower tier and upper tier, but the middle tier, it'll say Milwaukee brushless. So if it says brushless, that's your middle tier, and it's a brushless tool, and it's great. But really, Milwaukee's been focusing a lot on their upper tier, their highest tier, which is Milwaukee Fuel, okay? So as an example, this palm router, which I'll tell you more about in a second, you can see it's got the Milwaukee, it's M18, but it's Milwaukee Fuel. Every tool that you see that says Fuel in the title, that is a brushless tool. So this has a brushless motor, whereas like this drill, it's got a brushed motor. And you can really, really tell the difference. And it'll always say Fuel brushless right there. So if you're getting that, this is like the top tier, top of the line Milwaukee product. One more feature that all of the Milwaukee Fuel tools have that just standard Milwaukee brushless tools don't have is something called Red Link technology. And basically what this technology does, you can research it more. Basically, it's in that technology, it's in the tool, it's in the higher level chargers, and it's in the batteries. And it's basically going to be communicating. The battery communicates with the tool. The tool can tell the battery if it needs more power, all those kind of things. If you're a tool nerd like me, that kind of stuff, you're like, yeah, I want all of my Milwaukee stuff to be Milwaukee Fuel, just because you're getting the best performance, most efficient performance possible. So that's kind of the basics you need to know about Milwaukee as a whole. Now I want to show you the tools that I recommend. These are the tools I'm like, you should get these. They're really, really good, even by Milwaukee standards, which is kind of a brand that's now known for being a little bit more upper tier in the hierarchy of power tool brands. Now, later in the video, I'm going to also show you some tools that I would not recommend that you get, but these are my top 5 power tools that I would say are worth it. Number 1 is the Milwaukee M18 track saw. Now, I watched a lot of videos on lots of different track saws from a lot of different power tool companies before I decided to purchase this one. And I was almost kind of on the fence about track saws as a whole. Like, are they really worth it? I thought, I've got a table saw, so why would I need a track saw? I've got a circular saw. Is a track saw going to really be that much more of an upgrade? And I can say, like, yes, 100%. Where this really shines, really, where I think all track saws really shine, is when you're breaking down sheets of plywood. If you've ever been breaking down like an entire 4 foot by 8 foot sheet of plywood on a table saw, you know what I'm talking about. It's really tough to handle, even on some of those big cabinet saws. This track saw, or really track saws in general, make jobs like that very, very easy. This Milwaukee track saw I have loved. Now, full transparency, it's the only track saw I have in my shop. So you might say, well, Ben, you don't have anything to compare it to. And yes, I guess that is true. But I'm telling you guys, this track saw, even at the higher price point that it's at compared to some other brands, it blew me away. It's extremely accurate. It's very powerful. I've always run this saw with the XC 5.0 battery. Probably that should be upgraded, maybe to like an 8 amp battery. But I will say it gets after it. I've cut through 2-inch thick maple. You've seen me build a live edge desk on the channel. I'll link that right up here. But I used this track saw to, square up the sides of that live edge maple slab. I've cut through like 2.5-inch butcher block when I made a coffee cart for a guy. I've done a lot with this track saw. Like I said, very, very accurate. You can also pop this thing off the track, and it's got all of the adjustments so that you can use this as like a normal table saw. So basically it accounts for you not having the thickness of the track underneath. And that's kind of what you see here with these two different lines. One's circular saw mode, one is track saw mode. The dust collection is insane on this. I hooked this up to my Festool dust extractor, and I can have the garage completely closed in. It's not putting out any dust. So dust collection, very, very good. It's got all the features. I won't go into a full in-depth tutorial on this saw. I have a video on the channel where I do that, but it's got variable speed. It's got all the different locks and positive stops that you would want. It's just a great, great saw. Trust me, if you're looking to upgrade track saws, or if you're just looking to get in the track saw game, this is a great, high quality tool. By the way, I'll only say this once, but if you want to support me, support what I do here on the channel, you'll, down in the description, see links to all of these tools that I talk about and reference in this video. And whenever you shop using those links, sometimes it saves you money. Sometimes I can get some discount codes down there. But in general, it just helps the channel. I get a very small commission off of that. And it really helps me out. It helps me continue to be able to bring you videos like this. So thank you so much. If you do want to check out one of these videos using those links, it means the world to me. So thank you so much. I won't say that again. That's the only time I'll say it, but links are down in the description. Number 2 on the list is this M18 table saw. So if you've been following me on the channel for a while, you know that I used to work out of my dad's woodworking shop. He has a great saw stop cabinet saw. It's awesome. It's the coolest table saw I've ever used. And so when I was working out of his shop, I used that as my primary table saw. When I moved, I kind of moved, a little bit further away, and so I wasn't able to go over to his shop that often as I want to woodwork. And so I had to invest in a new table saw, and looked at a lot of different table saws. I decided it was not going to be worth the money right off the bat to get the saw stop table saw. And so I knew I was going to be going to more of a job site style table saw. I looked at battery powered. I looked at corded table saws. Looked at a lot of different brands, and I landed on this saw. Now you might think, well, you did that because you were already on the Milwaukee battery platform, but I really wasn't, because this saw runs off the Red Lithium Forge HD 12.0 battery. If you don't know what that battery is, it's a mouthful. It's like the highest powered battery that Milwaukee makes. And maybe you could run this saw off a smaller battery, but I wouldn't recommend it. So what I'm trying to say is I had to buy the battery and the saw at the same time. So it was still an investment for me, but this saw has blown me away. My biggest worry about getting a battery powered table saw was battery life. I thought, sometimes if you're in a project, like right now I'm making a butcher block for a guy, cutting all those strips, I'm like, that's gonna take a lot out of that battery. This battery has blown me away. I mean, when you lock this thing in the side, you can be rocking and rolling, making cuts through hardwood for a while. It's got that rack and pinion fence that's really, really accurate. I did make an upgrade to the miter gauge. Truthfully, the miter gauge was trash. It's like plastic, wiggles around. It's awful. So I bought the Incra V27, I believe it's called, miter gauge, and that thing is awesome. It's got positive stops everywhere. So that was kind of a nice upgrade I made. I also made an upgrade on my dust collection on the back, and I also use those bow push sticks. So those are a couple of things I did to plus this table saw, but this is a great high quality saw. If you're looking for like a really solid job site table saw, or even just a saw to kind of get started with woodworking, this one's great. If you want a full breakdown of the saw, I'll link a video that I did that's like 20 minutes long on this saw. I'll link that down in the description. Number 3, it's one of the Milwaukee power tools that I've had for maybe the longest time. It might have been the first Milwaukee fuel tool that I purchased. It's this palm router. This thing is amazing. I have several palm routers in the shop. I've got a Ryobi, I have a Bosch, and they're great. I've done reviews on them on the channel. I use them from time to time, but this is my go-to. It's variable speed, which I absolutely love. I think a variable speed is a must for any kind of palm router, because if you're using a bit that's taking off more material, you've got to slow that bit down. And then conversely, if you're using a very small bit, you want to speed it up. So to me, variable speed is a must. It's got great LED work lights. I love the micro adjustment. Just that whole mechanism is very comfortable to me. It also comes with a wide base. This is the small base, but it comes with a wide one, at least the package that I got. So I think that's great. And battery life on here is amazing with the XC 5.0 battery. This is just a great router. Also, there's a sale that goes on a lot. I think Home Depot puts on this sale where if you buy the router, you get like basically a free battery, the XC 5.0. I think that's a really good deal. And sometimes they pair this router with other Milwaukee power tools like maybe the Jigsaw or maybe an impact driver. Hey, speaking of tools going on sale, I have an email list that you can join. The link to that email list sign up is down in the description. And I'm always sending out tool deals. I send out maybe 3 to 4 emails a week. And I just find the best deals on power tools and I send those out. Once again, I get a small cut of those tool deals, so it just helps me continue to bring you more content. Okay, so every tool I've showed you so far has been on the M18 battery platform. So you might be thinking, okay, Ben, do you only like Milwaukee M18 tools? Not so. These next 2 tools are on the M12 platform. And the first one is my Milwaukee M12 Fuel Jigsaw. This, kind of how I was talking about with my palm router, the Milwaukee is my go-to palm router. This is my go-to jigsaw. And that's saying a lot because I have a lot of jigsaws in the shop. Let me show you. Just so you know what I compare this jigsaw to, I've got the Ryobi barrel grip jigsaw. This is an 18 volt jigsaw. I've got the D grip Ryobi jigsaw, also 18 volt. And I have the rigid barrel grip 18 volt jigsaw. And look, I really, truthfully, I'm a fan of all these jigsaws. They're all TTI brand jigsaws, so, you know, kind of take what you will from that. I actually really think this is a great jigsaw, but this isn't a Ryobi video. It's a Milwaukee video. And so I will say this is my go-to jigsaw. The main reason I grabbed this jigsaw over some of the other ones is this is a 12 volt tool. And while yes, I don't get the power or the battery life as like maybe some of these other jigsaws, I do get the lightweight comfort of this jigsaw. And typically, at least for me, when I'm working with a jigsaw, I'm usually not using it for like 30, 45 minutes on end. I'm usually making, you know, a quick cutout or a small cut, and then I'm putting it back on the charger. So I love the comfort when it comes to the jigsaw. It's got an automatic speed, which is great. It kind of intelligently knows if you need to slow your blade down or speed your blade up. So even though this is a variable speed, I just leave this thing in the automatic speed and let it ride. It's got tons of great features. I've reviewed this in a video, so I won't get into it now, but it's a great, great jigsaw. Once again, nothing wrong with any of these other ones, but this is my go-to. Tool number 5 that I would recommend, I think it's a great, great tool, is this Milwaukee M12 Fuel Sander. Now, this is one of the newest tools in my arsenal, and so, you know, it looks pretty new. I haven't used it a ton yet, but I already love this. I can already tell you this is gonna be my go-to sander, particularly with live edge slabs. I do a lot of work with live edge lumber. Like I said, I've made a desk recently. There's a video on the channel about that where I'm, you know, sanding those live edges, and sometimes having a 5 or 6 inch disc, it's just too big to get into all those little grooves of the live edge lumber. So this is going to be my essentially live edge sander. It's also great to have a 3-inch pad to just, if you're doing some detail work, maybe you're refinishing furniture and you need to get in a smaller area. This is great for that. It's very lightweight. I mean, very, very lightweight. Even for other tools that are on the M12 platform, feels really, really good. It's got 4 different speeds, which is awesome. It's got a nice light right here on the front that you can turn on and off manually. Just a really big fan of this. It's also variable speed. It's a responsive trigger, which I think is really, really nice. I haven't done a full review on this sander yet. If you'd like me to do that, let me know down in the comments. Just say like sander review or something, and I'll know what you mean, and I'll make a video on this. But this great tool also comes with sanding pads, and I think Milwaukee makes sanding pads from like 60 grit all the way to 400 grit and a lot of the ones in between. So you're getting lots of options with your sanding pads. Okay, now listen, I've got to make sure this is a video that's completely well-rounded, and because of that, I need to tell you about a couple of things that I would avoid if you're about to buy some Milwaukee power tools. If you've made it this far in the video, you probably know that I'm not a huge fan of brushed tools. That's just a general principle. I've reviewed a couple of brushed tools on the channel, but I'm almost at the point now where I feel bad recommending brushed tools to some of you. There's a couple, like Robbie's got a router that's brushed, and I think it's really good. I think it's like the best beginner router you can get. So there's still some that I'll recommend, but generally I feel bad recommending tools that I wouldn't personally spend my own money on. So I've kind of gotten away from recommending brushed tools because of what I talked about earlier. There's not as high quality, battery life isn't as good, power isn't as good, they run hot, all those kind of things. So because of that, I would not recommend this impact drill driver combo kit that I picked up that is brushed. Once again, I've used these all the time. I still use these. They're very lightweight. They're very, very comfortable. So if I'm in a tight cabinet installing something, I will use these 100%. But at the same time, one of the tools that's kind of on my list that I want to purchase in the future, it's the Milwaukee M12 fuel version of the drill and driver. Just because I want to upgrade, I want the power with the lightweight feel. So truthfully, I would not recommend getting anything that is at least brushless. Tool number 2 that I would avoid on the Milwaukee platform, and I say this kind of with a caveat, but I would say it is this Milwaukee fuel M12 5 3/8 inch framing circular saw. Now, I did an entire deep dive on the channel on this saw, and listen, there's a lot of things I like about this saw. The power is great, the battery life's great. Really, I just have 2 gripes with this saw, and one I realized after I made the video. And this isn't even a bad thing, you just gotta know what you're getting with this tool. It's a very shallow depth of cut. It's like a 5 3/8 inch blade, 5 3/8 inch blade. So your depth of cut, I think, is like 1 inch and 7/8, maybe 2 inches, somewhere in that neighborhood. You can cut down 2x4s, you can cut down plywood. That's pretty much what this saw is for. It's pretty much a framing saw. So if you're building a treehouse out in the back with your kids and you want a small saw that's lightweight that you can make quick cuts with, I think that's great. But for a woodworking context, I don't think this needs to be your primary circular saw. Okay, there's one more thing about this saw that I didn't notice for a while, and then someone commented on one of my videos, and I was like, oh my goodness, you're right. It's a left-handed saw. And I did not even notice this, but most circular saws, you want your body on the opposite side of the handle from your blade. Okay, here's a Ryobi circular saw. This is a full-size, I think 7 1/4 inch circular saw. You'll notice I'm right-handed, so I've got myself, my body, the handle, and the blade. This is how most circular saws you're gonna buy are. It's, I guess, a right-handed circular saw. This Milwaukee one, it's left-handed. It's crazy. So when I'm making cuts, let's say I'm cutting something right here, my body's kind of exposed to the blade. I don't know if Milwaukee makes a right-handed version of this saw. Some things on the saw are ambidextrous, like this little lock right here. It's on both sides. I don't know. I'm not saying I never want to use it again. When I learned that, I was just kind of like, oh, that's interesting. So it's a left-handed saw. If you're left-handed, this might be the saw for you. So I would just say know what you're getting with this saw before you invest in it. Otherwise, you might want to get a slightly bigger saw. And if you're right-handed like I am, you might want to get a right-handed saw just for safety reasons. I would just say know what you're getting. And, maybe if I was doing it over again, I would not have purchased this saw, even though as far as performance goes, it's been really, really good. Okay, so is Milwaukee worth the money? In my opinion, yes. Now, I know that might be an unpopular opinion. I've seen lots of comments about how Milwaukee prices are outrageous and they're overpriced. There's other tool brands that can perform the job for cheaper. And I'm like, yes, I agree with that. I think Milwaukee just takes performance to the next level. I'm a big believer, personally. I always say buy nice, not twice. And a lot of times when I've gone cheaper on tools, sometimes I just regret it. So I'm not saying there aren't other great tools out there by other tool brands, but I do think Milwaukee's worth the money. I guess if I were to phrase it a different way, I've never purchased a Milwaukee tool, especially on those 5 that I really recommended and thought, man, I overpaid for this. There are a few that I was like, man, I wish I had not bought this, but in those cases, I kind of wish I had bought the nicer tool. For example, the drill and driver that are brushed. I wish I bought the more expensive Milwaukee set. So, yeah, I don't think they're overpriced. One thing that we did not get into in this video is Milwaukee pack out, and that's like a whole debate, beyond the scope of this video. This was more of a power tool focused video, but I do have videos on Milwaukee pack outs. If you're interested in that, check it out right here or right here. These are 2 videos where I go kind of do deep dives into Milwaukee pack out, and I'll let you know if I'm a fan of it or not. So check out these videos. I'll see you right over here.